vicious and most ruthless champion there's ever been. There's no one can stop me. Lynx is a conqueror. No, I'm Alexander. He's no Alexander. I'm the best ever. There's never been anybody as ruthless. I'm Sonny Liston. I'm Jack Dempsey. There's no one like me. I'm from Nairclaw. There's no one that can match me.
No affiliation, why they faking? This ain't for debating. We the real, they really imitation. I be contemplating why this ain't no like heavy rotation on radio stations. I just pray the Lord give me patience, cause I'm running through these rappers like my name Walter Payton. Shitting on these rappers, 9 to 5 is my occupation. Raw, you come in with your best troops, you best bring more. Already told you I got the juice like Orenthal. Already know what I'm about to do, bet your men fall. Everyone know that we got the truth, all your men falls. So boss, overtaking our enemies. Moves calculated and orchestrated like symphonies. Smooth operated and breaking haters to misery. Top 5 list ain't shit unless you mention me. Yeah, that's why we don't associate. Fuck niggas make them more fuck niggas. Why they procreate? Why they overhate? Cause they time is short, the moment late. Let it culminate to they harder race and the palpitate. Cowards perpetrate like they little group is respectable. Talking intellectual, all of you homosexuals, faggots.
There's no one like me. I'm from Nairclaw. There's no one that can match me. My style is impetuous. My defense is impregnable. And I'm just ferocious. I want your heart. I want to eat your children.
I don't want to congregate. I don't want to deal with you. I don't want the fellowship. I ain't trying to build with you. Ain't the UPK, ain't the truth. Keep it real with you. Defenders of the faith. I got no problem bumping heads with you. All that bullshit, you can take it over there with you. Rather be a houseboy. Rather run with them field niggas. Show them to put in work. Move mountain, crush hills, nigga. Take a dead soul. Breathe life and make it live, nigga. No affiliation, so it's no one to compare with us. Took the Lord's laws and just added it with fear, nigga. Ain't for the body, cause you know like killer head quicker. With these bars, I'm on my grizzly, so bear witness. You spit cold, I spit flu. Don't compare sickness. You floss diamond, I floss fringes. Don't compare dentist. You PK, we meant the wall shit. We ain't Christian. Harm one of us, get pistol whipped like the gun got a belt with it. I'm bred different. The competition just a mill. I'm fed different. I stood front line on them fields. I bled different. I'd rather be a corpse than a coward. I'm led different. Shit, I'm led different. Come through like a juggernaut, so don't get in the way. And we take everything serious. We don't play. I wonder now what they gon' say. Shit, we make profits out of shooters like the NBA. You get slayed for switching sides, nigga. We ain't on the same page. Immaculate conception. Wow. These niggas bitch made. I'm sticking with the foundation where my bricks laid. You switch sides, I'd rather switch cage. You was never with us, nigga. Just know we on mission, nigga. Right hand hold the scriptures, nigga. Left hip hold the pistol, nigga. How you want it? You can get it spiritual or physics, nigga. Wrong ones to come against, so bring an army with you. No affiliation. When you see us, make the difference with us. No affiliation. When you see us, know we different, nigga. No affiliation, so no, you can't kick it with us. The wrong ones to come against, bring an army with you.
Looking at my people and the casualties, misunderstood for having some morality, but my people dead in spirituality. Lord knows, just a young Hebrew from Killer, California. Used to thug in the street with no sense of order. Used to love to press the line, even test the water, and almost lost my life from slanging and hanging on that corner. I learned to cut the grass so I could see the snakes. I had to decipher between the real and fake. And nowadays all these niggas do is hate, treat you like a bitch, sit back and try to manipulate. Yeah, that's why I got it on my own too. You see me rocking with the Hebrews. UPK is how we do, stand for the Lord. The mother niggas is see-through.
Where the soldiers at?
Wake your game up, my nigga. Ain't no time for this shit. I know you sitting back thinking that life is a bitch. Yes, my nigga, I understand. My nigga, I feel your pain. Yeah. My nigga, we gotta for the can, this for the can.
It's safe to say we curse today, trying to find another way, but all they do is take away. Trying to pray to make a way, while trying to find a safer way. Eat so we can face to face, please Lord save the day. Cause everybody at my job always got some shit to say. You might think this shit is crazy, but I deal with this every day. Knowing that we paved the way, I had it up to here today. Listen to the shit to say, make me wanna catch this case, or even if they face away. But I know what them scriptures say, we gon' wait on judgment day. Thinking it ain't coming, thinking the Lord bluffing. Waiting on the day it's gon' be hotter than the oven. Though they treat me like a slave, wanna see me in the grave. Hate to see a nigga break, hate to see a nigga break. It's hard at my job, but I'll be too wise. Knowing that this crackers gon' get it, no problem. It's hard at my job, but I'll be too wise. Knowing that this crackers gon' get it, no problem.
Your game up, my nigga. Ain't no time for this shit. I know you sitting back thinking that life is a bitch. Yes, my nigga, I understand. My nigga, I feel your pain. My nigga, we gotta change. This for the can, this for the can.
Yo, man, check this shit out, man. Check this out. Out there, just like you out there in the street, man. The street. You know what I'm saying? It's for our people out here, man. Yeah. Waking you up from the grave, man. It's 1969. Larry's band, anatomy. Check me out, though. Dead man walking. Bullet shots unguided. Same poverty, different hood, yet we divided. Bang ghosts like pirates. Inside I'm in riot. Mind staying library, so I'ma keep quiet. I'm about to explode from the impact of this pressure. Slay fire breathing dragons as I march the desert. Walk with no sight, your fate will measure. Diamonds made for rocket, that's our body treasure. Born in oppression, forced to maintain. Yoke the iron, wrapped in them prison chains. Animal instincts when niggas is caged. Resorting to violence, here's a plate of my rage. Action without a cause, you living with no life. Killing demons while it's grace so you can get right. You say you want the kingdom, you gon' have to fight. Tunnel vision, one west, Lord, I see the light. Truth in my veins, as I slide on my shades. War scarf, shoulda David hanging from my chain. The world say we strange. Teach you how to change, one west, waking brothers up from the grave. Truth in my veins, as I slide on my shades. War scarf, shoulda David hanging from my chain. The world say we strange. Teach you how to change, one west, waking brothers up from the grave. Been at the end of the tunnel, I could see the light. Before I had a car bust past and a bike. If you ready for war, let's knuckle up and fight. Who would've known a pair of black butchers saved my life? Before I had a full time, I was a drug dealer. Blood on my hands, but never claimed to be a killer. Yell like a bear, stand strong like gorillas. The Lord showed me UPK, now I'm a winner. Nightmares are falling weak to them old days. Niggas rather stay lost, looking both ways. Brothers kicking so much knowledge, never question age. As I approach the mic, I'm looking through my shades. Back then, it was peak coats for the winners. Now it's trench coats with fringes, tell me who sent you. Cut through flesh and bones with just Bible scripture. The white man's the goddamn devil, do you need a picture? Truth in my veins, as I slide on my shades. War scarf, shoulda David hanging from my chain. The world say we strange. Teach you how to change, one west, waking brothers up from the grave. Truth in my veins, as I slide on my shades. War scarf, shoulda David hanging from my chain. The world say we strange. Teach you how to change, one west, waking brothers up from the grave. Hey, remember this, man. One west, one west, one west. Hey, remember this, man. One west, one west, one west. Hey. Under Commander General Yohana, you understand? We ought to bring nothing but the truth. All you perpetrators out there, man, be ready to be destroyed out there, man. We out here standing for our people. One West, man, 1969. ISUPK. No cowards, no excuses.
There's nothing I can say to make you believe. Yeah. Man, ain't nothing I can say. There's nothing I can say to make you believe. To make you believe. What if I told you that I was the son of God? Would that be easy to believe, or would you make it hard? And I finally learned the difference between wise and smart. When I say we bless people, they say times is hard. And all I can tell them is they ain't never lied. Reincarnated, I'm back like I ain't never died. Man, I won't say it if it can't be verified. Niggas say they soldiers, when war starts, they terrified. I'm about to let it ride, bring it back to pride of black skin, cause they ain't got a clue what's happening. And we still being punished from back then. How we gon' make a change when we too busy adapting? Buckle your seatbelts, make sure you strapped in. They showed us the trap, so now my people trapped in. Cause everything we wanted to be, they said we couldn't be it. I told them we was chosen people, they just couldn't see it. Yeah. Yeah. And it ain't nothing I can say. There's nothing I can say to make them believe. To make you believe. Keep hearing footsteps in the dark, and my dogs gon' bite while the rest of y'all barking. Moving at the speed of light while y'all parking. In that water with sharks, I ain't scared, I'm a dolphin. It ain't no talking, boy, we all action. Trying to build a nation, but them hoes is distracting. With that twerking on the pole in the back bins. Put on some clothes, set some goals, we can rap then. And we ain't never been the same since the crack came. Selling poison just to give it to the Jack name. They promote the lifestyle through the rap game. Flood the hood with it, then tell you it's a black thing. They really need God, but they call idols. How these jits 14 with assault rifles? They waiting for better days. Now can I paraphrase? Niggas will kill their own brother for a pair of J's. And it ain't nothing I can say. It's nothing I can say to make you believe. To make you believe. Let me say it anyway.
From the dust to the dawn outside. So when I'm born outside, I'm catching wreck when they drawn outside. Cause it's a war outside, my sword drawn outside. This Excalibur, you better be all outside. Cause it's a war outside, I get it on outside. You in the crib, but the war outside, I get it on outside. That's a definite cannonball, wrecking shit, excellent. Rhyme Barack and bombing like the president. I remain strong, King Kong, you with the prevalence. I show you exactly what we do, that's how I represent. Hardcore, heaven sent, chain on, hella bent. Throwing all black when they spot me like the leopard print. Oh, I got the braids in, shades on, made men. Cause we put in work to start the earth until they cave in. Walk strong, talk heavy, hold my own. You rock solid when we bout to leave the sword, the stone. Nigga, we warriors, hardcore, track with the pride. To let the Hebrew speak, nigga, general eyes. And we talkin' super heavy, nigga, that's a surprise. With all scripture, street talk, word to Captain the Kai. Nigga, we blazing, ripping the mic with all facts. Doing the knowledge to the max, till we cracking the pavement. UPK, got a one West Harlem, nigga. We spring forward and they falling like it's autumn, nigga. Talking to all them niggas born in the mud. If you ain't feeling this, you're cold and it's love, and that's real. Oh, I get the cat tired, or they not of my kind. I get the order in his handle kind, not the one kind. Without a doubt in my mind, I'm finna stop and recline. Anybody they come against us, they should probably resign. It's a war going on outside, no man is safe from. I hate these niggas throwing shots, but can they take some? Christ says, sell out your garments to get a sword now. I'ma go and sell out these polos to get a 4 pound. Damn sure it started the war, but I'ma end it. Cause the spiritual war could turn carnal any minute. I remember riding back in the days, window was tinted. But Salaki, I'm done with that carnal shit, I repented. And they bomb-proof the booth every time I'm about to go in it. You ain't know this shit, I live for this truth and I'ma defend it. And I get my second wind just as soon outside, you in the crib, but the boy outside. I get it on outside. Nobody's safe, it's a war out here. If you pussy in the streets, you a whore out here. See me all suited up in my fallout gear. 762, slip your fucking car out here. No burner, I still a break your jaw out here. No fear, if you scared, get a motherfucking pit. Or sit up in the church, you a motherfucking bitch. I give you in the verse what I give you in a clip. It's 32 rounds of fire, it never quit. A lot of fuckery going down, so what's the purpose? Sick of hanging around these clowns, get out the circus. If you cross that line, then you get lit up. The worst is all black hearses, tinted with black curtains. Docs on site with medics and mad nurses. Leave us out your verses. You don't want that kind of war, ready for that bullshit. Kinda like a matador. Get this kind of focus, you gon' need some Adderall. Something just to lock you in behind them padded walls. They say I got some screws loose, and that's true. Don't let me let them wolves through like it's a full moon. It's like I transform the booth to a war room. Come up with a strategy, maximizing your casualties. Courage of King David, battling like the Maccabees. Find out who you think that nigga walks to him casually. Then proceed to bar his life away rapidly. Take a knee for your majesty, take it, they hate it savagely. I try leaving rap alone, but I guess that this had to be. Keep you grounded like gravity, in the field but it's amateur. Horror, I see calamity, scar you up with my family. Mumble rappers be mad at me, fuck them up in they faculty. They words sweet, sit in they mouth and causing cavity. Yeah, it's a war, none of you suckers worry. It's a war going on outside, you in the crib, but the boy outside. I get it on outside, from the dusk to the dawn outside. So in the morning outside, I'm catching breath when they drawing outside. Cause it's a war outside, my sword drawn outside. Cause Excalibur, your bladder be on outside. Cause it's a war outside, I get it on outside. You in the crib, but the boy outside. I get it on outside.
Put a tidal wave of emotion upon the back burner. Coming up in this truth, you suffer like a Nat Turner. Terrence Crutcher ain't the first or the last of the black murders. Anybody trying to water you down, they lack the fervor. This the school of the hard knocks, we hard rocks. Come with that smooth talk slick, you get your heart operated on your mind. It's what the Christian church made it on all the lies. And that white man you keep waiting on to fall out of the sky. Nothing but watery eyes and the gnashing of your teeth. We keep this brotherhood strong. Contort a bottle with the priest. We turn the drama into peace. But keep a lookout at the cookout. Anybody got a problem? No, we quick to bring the book out. As a fisher of men, I'm trained to always have my hook out. We them rebels you heard about. Same hands I have you took out. 144,000 saints that Christ done took out. We wasn't straight, so we got the crooks out. It's going down. You ain't gotta be from a crowd, just a member of the family. Religionity, it's just a white man's fantasy to keep us out the land through the vanity of our eyes. You can't deny the devil being a lie and a terrorist. The UPK is real as it gets, the realest it's ever been. Every trooper is evidence, the officers, weapon specialists, the captains of chariots, the generals dropping jewels on you Judas Iscariots. Repent, motherfucker. In the world I wasn't Cupid, the truth made me ruthless. Used to fear death, now I don't give two shits. Bloody knuckles, two fists, rather have my boots kissed. Cook these heathens up like a steak out of Roots Chris. Straight out the nooses, they knowin' how we do in a moment. It's hammer time, let a nigga call me Judas. Mr. Mac is on attack mode, I'm ice, I don't act cold. Never mind, I'm an asshole, my mission defending black folk. Equipped with bait and tackle, standing next to me, listen, you could light a candle. Boots, braids, beards, and grills with all black camo. Coming out of Hebrew Academy, John Rambo. I'm a sample of your life. After stepping, fetching sample. Keep your bad and bougie ass on. I want my land on Yasha Allah. the prophets of the Father. Watch me pop my collar, fishing out, preparing for the slaughterhouse. Weapons of war and the drought. Hell, you talking about if God is all up? Why they chalking out bodies with your sawed off religion? Intentions is looking shoddy, looking shoddy. A hard copy, we make a man out of Punani. The game is like Jumanji, recording it like Jumali. UPK is one body, many members, no duplicates. The fake camps proving this. We in the BX Bronx, my nigga, who you with? We too legit to quit, and it's an all-star weekend. Not a heathen in the atmosphere. The whole damn atmosphere, the chariots are not. Yeah, I wish I got my jacket here, passing over land with our weapons in hand. Commanding General Yohana, raising messengers, man. Nothing ordinary, extraordinary, ain't a compliment. The white man's breathing on a black man's oxygen. Without the UPK, we still believe in false doctrine. I'm in the furnace, Johnny Cochran, and the blood don't fit. This is pissing off Romulus. The white man's the devil, America's a cockpit. Flaming homosexuals, Israel,
Line yourself!
Maio, vou apoiar o Dão, os meus vários feliz.
We're going to read the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew, then in English. Abinah, Shabbat Shemayim, Badat, Hayat, Shemka, Yahweh, Malach Rakah, Vava'ah, Ratazayaka, Hayat, Aisha, Ra'arataza, Kawah, Hayat, Bashemayim, Nathanana, Lakam, Kol, Yobam, Wasalak now, Karawak now, Kasalak now, Kamalak now, Wala'ah, Thamya'ayna, Manasayawah, Abal, Habashayna, Mayan, Ra, Kaya, Lakah, Hamalakwa, Waha'ala, Waha'apa'ara, Wa'aralamia, Amar, our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth, as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it. This is Hakak, the power, Yahweh, Bahashimi Hawashah, Babakashah, the thunder now, Hakak, Lord Pa'ah, Kamaka'Allah, Wakomallah, Hakak, Latahar, Hamatazarayim, Hakak, Lahaki, Hamaki, Hakak, Awaka'Allah, Hatama'Allah, Lakarashah, Bahashimi Hawashah, the one on one. Yahweh, then Yahushua, please give us the power to heal, all manner of sickness, and all manner of disease, the power to cleanse the leper, the power to raise the dead, the power against unclean spirit, to cast them out, in the name of Yahushua, thank you, so be it. This is blessed Israel, Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushua,
Hashem Yahushua.
Barak Lana,
Lana,
Wayasha'al, Wahabayah, Sapari, Barak, Rapah, Magan, Hagan, Bahashim Yahushua,
Hashem Yahushua.
the water of mine.
Wala. And the name is Yahweh.
Yahweh,
And the name Yahushua.
the name of Yahushua,
Bless us.
and
Israel.
Israel,
And the school.
and the school, bless,
Heal.
heal, shield,
Protect.
protect,
In the name of Yahushua.
in the name of Yahushua,
Thank you.
thank you,
So be it.
so be it. This is Psalms 121. Aisha,
Aisha,
Ayanya,
Ayanya,
Ahahari,
Ahahari,
Ma'ayan,
Ma'ayan,
Yaba'ah,
Yaba'ah,
Izari,
Izari,
Ma'ayan, Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Aisha,
Aisha,
Shemayan,
Shemayan,
Wa'aratazah,
Wa'aratazah,
Al-Yatan,
Al-Yatan,
Lamawat,
Lamawat,
Ragolka,
Ragolka,
Al-Yanawam,
Al-Yanawam,
Shamarka,
Shamarka,
Hana,
Hana,
La'ab, Yanawam, Wala'ab, Yagishan,
Yagishan,
Sharamar,
Sharamar,
Yasha'al,
Yasha'al,
Yahweh, Shamarka, Yahweh, Tazalka, Al-Yad, Yamika, Yaramam, Hashamash, La'ab, Yakika, Wayarach, Balayalad, Yahweh, Yashamarka, Makora, Yashamar, Akapashka, Yahweh, Yashamar, Taza'aka, Wawa'aka, Mayaka, Wa'ai, Awalam, Amam.
And the name is, so I will lift up my eyes to the hill.
I will lift up my eyes to the hill.
From whence cometh my help?
From whence cometh my help?
My help comes from Yahweh.
My help cometh from Yahweh,
Heaven and earth.
which made heaven and earth.
He will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
He will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
He that keepeth thee
He that keepeth thee
will not slumber.
will not slumber.
Behold,
Behold,
he that keepeth Israel
he that keepeth
shall
Israel
neither slumber nor sleep.
shall neither slumber nor sleep.
How is thy keeper?
Yahweh is thy keeper.
How is thy shade upon thy right hand?
Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand.
The sun shall not smite thee by day,
The sun shall not smite thee by day,
nor the moon by night.
nor the moon by night.
The house shall preserve thee from all evil.
Yahweh shall preserve thee from all
He
evil.
shall preserve thy soul.
You shall preserve thy soul.
The house shall preserve thy going out,
Yahweh shall preserve thy going out
and thy coming in.
and thy coming in,
And this time
and
forth,
this time forth,
and even forevermore.
and even forevermore.
So be it.
So be it. Psalms 83. Alahai.
Alahai.
Adamayalaka.
Yalaka.
Alpha Karash.
Karash.
Ra'alpha Shaphat.
Alpha Shaphat.
Ah. Kayahana.
Kayahana.
Oyadaka. Yahana Yawan.
Yawan.
Wamshanayaka.
Wishmanayaka.
Nasha'awa.
Awa.
Ra'ash.
Anaka.
Al-Anaka. Ya'ariyama. Sawa.
Wa.
Wiyatha Ya'ata Sawa.
Ya'ayatazawa.
Altazapawanika.
Zapawanika.
Amara. Lakawa. Wanakakim.
Kakina.
Magolia, Wala'ah, Yasakar, Sham Yash'al, Iwa, Kaya, Nawa'aytazawa, La, Yakhadwa, Ayaka, Arya, Yakarakwa, Aholia, Alawam, Wishmai Aliyam, Mu'abba, Wahagariya, Gabal, Wa'anawan, Wa'anala, Halasha, Anyashabya, Tazawur, Gam Ashavur, Nalawa, Imam, Hayawan, Zarawai, Labanilawat, Salah, Aishalaham, Kamani, Kasayasara'ah, Kayaki, Banachal, Kuyashwa, Neshamatwa, Ba'ayanda Arab, Hayawan, Daman, Adama, Shayatanwa, Netayakawa, Ka'ara, Wakaza'aba, Wakazabat, Wakazazomana, Kanasayakabwa, Ashar, Amara, Nayarasha, Lanawa, Af, Na'awaf, Alahayim, Shayatanwa, Kagogla, Kakwas, Lapanyaraka, Ka'as, the Ba'ayra Ya'ayra, Wakala'aba, Falahat, Harin, Khan, the Radatma, Vasa'iraka, Wabasarokafka, the Baholia, the Bahalan, the Wasa, Mala'ah, Hanyaham, Kwalawan, Wakwashwa, Shemkam, Yahawah, Yabashwa, Wayabahoa, Ayahai, Wayakapara, Wayabadwa, Wayadaiwa, Kaya, Athad, Shemkam, Yahawah, Labaka, Ayawan, Akal, Harakza, Amar.
In the English, keep not thy silence on your house.
Keep not thy silence on your house.
Hold not thy peace.
Hold not thy peace.
Be not still on your house.
Be not still on your house.
The Lord.
The Lord.
Thy enemies make a tumult.
Thy enemies make a tumult.
And they hate thee.
And then they hate thee.
And lifted up the head.
And lifted up the
They
head.
have taken crafty counsel.
They have taken crafty counsel
Against thy people.
against thy people.
Consulted against thy hidden.
And consulted against thy hidden.
They have said,
They have said,
Come,
Come,
let's cut them off.
let us cut them off.
Be in the nation.
From being a nation.
In the name of Israel.
That the name of Israel
May we no more remember.
may be no more remembered.
They have consulted together.
For they have consulted together
With one consent.
with one
They
consent.
are confederate against
They are confederate against
the
it.
tabernacles of Edom.
The tabernacles of Edom
And the Israelites.
and the Israelites
Moab.
and Moab
And the Hagarenes.
and the Hagarenes,
Gabal.
Gabal
And
and Ammon
Amalek.
and Amalek,
The Philistines.
the Philistines,
The inhabitants of Tyre.
with inhabitants of Tyre.
Asher also was joined with them.
Asher is also joined with
They
them.
have hoped the children of Lot.
They have hope in the children of Lot, Salah,
Do unto them.
do unto them
As unto the Midianites.
as unto the Midianites,
Sister Sarah.
as Sister Sarah,
Sister Ben.
as Sister Ben,
The brook of Kison.
the brook of the
The
sun,
parents at Endor.
which perished in
He
Endor.
became his lump for the earth.
They became as dung for the earth,
They know it's like a red.
making numbers like a rat,
And like the head.
and like the air.
Yea.
Yea,
All their princes.
all their princes,
As the bar.
as the bomb,
As the moon.
and as the moon, who said,
Let's take to ourselves.
let us take to
The
ourselves
house of the Most High.
the house of the Most High in possession.
Oh my power.
Oh, my
Make
power,
them like a wind.
make them like a wheel,
As summer before the wind.
as a summer before the wind,
Fire burns in your wood.
as the fire burns the wood,
As the flames set the mountains on fire.
as the flame sets the mountains on fire.
Persecute them.
So persecute them with thy tempest,
Make them afraid of thy storm.
and make them afraid of thy storm.
Fill their faces with shame.
Fill their faces with shame,
That they may seek thy
that they
name.
may seek thy name.
O Yahweh.
O Yahweh,
Let them be
let
confounded.
them be
In
confounded
trouble forever.
and trouble forever.
Yea.
Yea,
Let them be put to
let
shame.
them be put to shame and perish,
And then they know
that men may know that thou,
name alone
whose name alone
is Yahweh.
is Yahweh,
Art the Most High.
art the Most
Over
High
all the earth.
over all the earth.
So be it.
So be it. This is the blessings in Hebrew. Barakatha Yahweh,
Barakatha Yahweh.
Yahweh Shah,
Yahweh Shah.
Wama Yaka Allah,
Wa Yaka Allah.
Wa Allah Hayim,
Wa Allah Hayim.
Matazab Yahweh,
Tazab Yahweh.
Allah Wak
Allah
Yahana,
Wab Yahana.
Ha Allah Wakdu,
Allah Wabin.
Ha Saranya,
Tasarani.
Ha Kwatazayanya,
Hakwata Zayani.
Ha Kayayoya,
Hakwata Yahweh.
Wa Ha Akwakia,
Wa Akwatin.
Yahweh, Wa Hashim Yahweh Shai,
Hashim Yahweh Shah.
the Wada Amah.
Wala Aman. In the English. Bless you Yahweh.
Bless you
And
Yahweh,
Yahweh Shah.
and Yahweh Shai,
And Michael.
and Michael,
And the angel.
and the angel,
The manager in the house.
commanding to the heart,
General.
the general,
Captain.
the captain,
Officer.
the officers,
Troopers.
the troopers,
And the sister.
and the sister.
How?
Yahweh,
And the name of Yahweh
in the
Shah.
name of Yahweh Shai,
Thank you.
thank you,
So be it.
so be it.
Charles, that's it. I'm fine. In Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 33. That's it, the first one.
Come on, fellas.
Hashemah, Ein, the wall, Al-Hayy, with the bar, with the wak, Ka'ash, Ka'ashar, Shema'ayf, Atah, with Yahya, before, Awah, and a sub, on a higher, the go up, a quat, the wall, go ya, but a ra, go ya, on a side, but a thought. Zara, until we're young. We're going on war. We're going on war a young. Gedolia, Gekal, Shah, Shah, Lekam, Yahweh, Alahayaka, Zaria, Ayaniak, the Ara'af, the Aif, Kaya, Awa, Alahai, Ayan, Aywa, Malabari, 36, Mana, Hashemayam, Hashemai, Yaika, Holawa, Yisar, Yisarak, Baal, Aratiza, Hasha, Allah. Is that right? Or is it God?
I thought the first one was right too.
Allah.
Come on.
With the bar you want. Shema'ai. With the wak. Ash 37. With the chaf. Kaya. Aha. Ah. Abafika. Where you bachar. Was a Iowa. Bacharya. Where you what is an ak? Baniwa, Chakwa, Agador, Zaria, 38, Laha Warrior, Laha War, Young, Golia, Gedolia, Wa'itazamya, Wamak, Wapanyaka, Lahabya Ak, Lahabya Akah, Lathaf, Aratazam, Akhala, Kayawam, Azar, we get the Aif, Kayawam, Wahashabath, Al, Babka, Kaya, Yahaw, Alahaya, Washamya, Wa'al, Aratiza, Wabakhat, Ayan, Aywa. That's it.
so you were right in verse 36. Because that word, see, sometimes the wa throws me off, so you were right. It would be how the wall ha at the end be the ha. So you were right. It was for verse 36. You were actually right when you said it the second time. So it would be the wall ha, because the word is actually great. But you know, sometimes they put the wa in there. So when it's a feminine, so the ha. You were right the second time. So.
No, I thought it was a God of luck.
So if you take the wa out, it would be gadol. That's kind of like great. So it would be the wall, and then the ha would be at the end because it's saying it's a feminine word.
So it's I got the wall.
Ha, come on.
I got it. That's what. The wall.
Come on. This is, we're reading verse 33 to 39. Come on. Deuteronomy chapter 33 through Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 33. Did ever people hear the voice of the Most High speaking out of the midst of the fire, as thou hast heard and lived? Verse 34. Or hath your power as the power as said to go and take him a nation from the midst of another nation by temptations, by signs, by wonders, by war, by a mighty hand, and by a stretched out arm, and by great terrors, according to all that the Most High, your power, did for you in Egypt before your eyes? Verse 35, unto thee it was shown that thou mightest know that the Most High, he is your power. There is none else besides him. Verse 36, out of heaven he made thee to hear his voice, that he might instruct thee, and upon earth he showed thee his great fire, and thou heardest his words out of the midst of the fire. Verse 37, and because he loved thy fathers, therefore he chose their seed after them, and brought thee out in his sight with his mighty power out of Egypt. Verse 38, to drive out nations from before thee greater and mightier than thou art, to bring thee to give thee their land for an inheritance as it is to this day. Verse 39, now therefore this day, and consider in thine heart that the Most High, he is power in heaven above and upon the earth beneath. There is none else. And that's it.
You take this round.
Come on.
Chapter 4, verse 40.
Come on, sir.
I'm going to sit this here.
Come on. We're now reading Deuteronomy chapter 4, starting in verse 40. With Shamartha, As, Hakwayawa, Wa'as, Matazawath Yawa, Ashar, Anakia, Matazawaka, Hayawam, Ashar, Yayatota, Laka, Wallabanyaka, Acharyaka, Wallama'ain, Tha'arayak, Yum, Ha'adamha, Salaki, Ashar, Yahweh, Alahayaka, Nathan, Laka, Kol, Hayum. Verse 41. Azah, Yabado, Yal, Mashah, Shalash, Arim, Ba'ira, Hayaradan, Mazaracha, Shamash. Verse 42. Lanas, Shema, Raratazak, Ashar, Yaratazak, Af, Ra'ayawa, Babolia, Da'ath, Waha, La'a, Shana'a, Lawa, Matha, Mawal, Shalashmi, Wanas, Chaf, Man, Ha'arim, Ha'al, Wachya, Wachia. Verse 43. Af, Batazar, Bamadabar, Ba'aratazar, Hamayashar, Lara'awabanya, Wa'af, Ra'amas, Bagal La'aid, Lagadya, Wa'af, Gawalan, Babashan, Lamanashia. Verse 44. Was a Af, Hafa Wara, Ashar, Sham, Musha, Lapanya, Banya, Yasha'ala. Verse 45. Allah, Ha'edaf, Wahakakyum, Wahamashapakyum, Ashar, Dabar, Ashar, Banya, Yasha'ala, Bataza Atham, Matazarian, verse 46. Ba'ai-bar, Hayaradan, Bagaya'ah, Mawal, Bayath, Ha'ai-war, Ba'aratazar, Sayachan, Malak, Ha'amaria, Ashar, Yawashah, Bachashabawan, Ashar, Hacha, Shema, Wabanya, Yasha'ala, Ba'ataza Atham, Mamatazarian. Verse 247, sir? Was it 247? That's it.
In the English, Genesis chapter, Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 4. Thou shalt keep therefore his statutes and his commandments, which I command thee this day, that it may go well with thee, and with thy children after thee, and that thou mayest prolong thy days upon the earth, which the Most High thy power giveth thee forever.
So, like if I'm thought, so if you look at verse 42, and you can look at this in two ways too. It says, when we kept the statutes and the commandments and the laws of the Most High, it would two things. When it says you shall prolong thy days upon the earth, it's twofold. Because one, you will prolong your days in the land that He gave you. Also, it makes you would live. Right. So it's both. And when we stopped keeping those law, statutes, and commandments, what happened to us? We died and we were put out the land. So it's twofold when you read that, when He says that your days may be prolonged in the earth. And one fold is talking about that you'll live in the land, that you'll keep the inheritance, which is the land of Canaan, and also that you'll live on the earth, that you won't die. That's what Slack said.
Verse 41.
Concept.
Then Moses served 3 cities of this side Jordan toward the sun rising. 42. That the slayer might flee thither, which he killed his neighbor unawares, and hated him not in times past, and that fleeing unto one of these cities he might live, namely Bezerah, in the wilderness, in the plain country of the Reubenites, and Ramoth and Gilead of the Gadites, and Golan and Bashan of the Manassites. 44. And this is the law which Moses set before the children of Israel. 45. These are the testimonies and the statutes and the judgments which Moses spake unto the children of Israel after they came forth out of Egypt. 46. On this side Jordan, in the valley over against Beth-peor, in the land of Sihon, king of the Amorites, who dwelt in Heshbon, whom Moses and the children of Israel smote after they were come forth out of Egypt. We're in Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 47 in the Hebrew. Bear with me, so come. Rashba, Arat is a what? Arat is a Iwa, Malak, Abashan, Shanya, Malakia, Ha'amaria, Ashar, Ba'aibar, Hayoradan, Mazarak, Shamash, 48, Ma'ai, Ashar, Al, Shapach, Nechor, Oanan, Wa'ai, Ha, Shaya'an, Hawa'a, Hawa, it's like Charam, Karam 1, 49. Ukal, Ha'irabah, Aibala, Dan, Mazawakha, Wa'ai, Yam, Ha'irabah, Wa'cha, Ashadah, Apasadha. Deuteronomy chapter 5, verse 1. What's the first word you got for chapter 5?
Wayakora.
Wayakora. You got an I at the end of that?
Come, but and that word it's called, and so first sometimes the double A's don't, and that word is just Korah. So it's like just come.
Masha, Ka, Yasha'ala, Yamar, Allaham, Shemai, Yasha'ala, Hakwa Yam Wa'ah Shapat Shaw Anaki the bar Wa'azanyaka Ayawam Wala Martha a thumb Shamar, Aisha thumb. Two, Yahweh, Alahayanwa, Karath, Aymanwa, Baryat, Wachara, Abathian, Abatayanwa, Karath, At, Baryat, Haza'at, Kayab, Athania, Khadwa, Allah, Papa, Ayawam, Karam, Hayayam, verse 4, Hayam, Hania, Ibar, Hawa, Aymakam, Bahar, the Wak, the Ash.
We're now going to read Deuteronomy chapter 4, verses 47 to the end, and then we'll go to chapter 5. Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 47. And they possessed his land, and the land of Og, king of Bashan, 2 kings of the Amorites, which were on this side of Jordan, towards the sun rising. Verse 48, from Aroer, which is by the bank of the river Arnon, even unto Mount Sion, which is Hermon. Verse 49, and all the plain on this side, Jordan eastward, even unto the sea of the plain, under the springs of Pisgah. We're now in Deuteronomy chapter 5, verse 1. And Moses called all Israel and said unto them, Hear, O Israel, the statutes and judgments which I speak in your ears this day, that ye may learn them and keep them and do them. Verse 2. The Most High, our power, made a covenant with us in Horeb. And this right here shows that the Most High made a covenant with Israel. He didn't make a covenant with all these other nations. He made a covenant with Israel. Because and why did he make that covenant? Because he made a covenant with their forefather Abraham. So bloodline. So the bloodline is important. Verse 3. The Most High made not this covenant with our fathers, but with us, even us who are all of us here alive this day. Verse 4. The Most High talked with you face to face in the mount out of the midst of the fire. That's it. Come. 5 to 11. Come. We're now in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 5, verse 5 to 11. Anakia, Imah, Bayan, Yahweh, Wada Yanyakam, Ba'is, Hahawa'ah, Lahagaya, Lakam, Af, Dabar, Yahweh, Kaya, Yara'atham, Mapanya, Ha'ash, Wala'ad, Al-Yatham, Bahar, La'amar, verse 6. Anakia, Yahweh, Alahayaka, Ashar, Hawa'ataza'afyaka, Ma'arataza, Matazarian, Mabayath, Ibadium, verse 7. La'ah, Yahaya, Laka, Alahayim, Acharyim, Panya, verse 8. La'ah, Aisha, Laka, Pasal, Kal, Thama, Wana, Ashar, Bashamayim, Mama'al, Wa Ashar, Ba'arataza, Matha Chaf, Wa Ashar, Bamayam, Matha Chaf, La'arataza, verse 9. La'ah, Thashawa, Laham, Wala'ah, for Ibadma, Kaya, Anakia, Yahweh, Alahayaka, Al, Quna'a, Paquad, I1, Amawaf, Al, Bunyam, Wa'al, Shalapshim, Wa'al, Raba'ayim, Lashana Ayah, verse 10. Wa'aisha, Chasad, La'alakyum, La'ahabya, Salaki, Wa'lashamariya, Matazawafwa, verse 11. La'a, Lasha'a, Sham, Yahweh, Alahayaka, Lashawa'a, Kaya, La'a, Yanaqwa, Yahweh, Ashar, Yasha'a, Shamwa, Lashawa'a. That's it.
Okay. Deuteronomy chapter 5, verse 5 in the English. I stood between the Most High and you at the time to shew you the word of the Most High, for ye were afraid by reason of the fire, and went not up into the mount, saying, verse 6, I am the Most High thy power, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt from the house of bondage. Absolutely.
If you look at verse 6, I always say this, I've heard people heard me say this a lot of times. This cuts us having any connection with Pan-Africanism, Kemet, because the Most High, the very first thing he said was, I brought you out of the land of Egypt. So I don't know why black people are trying to jump back into Egypt, trying to connect us with Kemet or any type of Pan-Africanism or Hamites. The very first thing he said is, I brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. So that cuts our ties with Africanism, Pan-Africanism, Egyptian, Kemet. We're not them. So
you're absolutely right. It's an excellent point. And a lot of black people want to tie themselves to Egypt because how the pyramids and everything over there, and the mummies and all that crap or what have you. But we don't recognize and understand. They had us in captivity.
Come.
Just like America had us in captivity. And a lot of the reasons we want to tie ourselves to Egypt is because our oppressor, he gets everything from Egypt.
Come.
All this Greek mythology, and all that is tied into Roman Catholicism. And then we found out, okay, all of these concepts is tied to Christianity. So I was like, oh man, instead of following Jesus, I want to follow Nimrod. I want to follow the Egyptian gods because that's where he got it from.
Come.
Meanwhile, it's all garbage. Regardless of what we are trying to follow, we should be trying to follow the Lord rather than false gods of Egypt or even if it's Roman Catholicism or Greek mythology, which all derives from Egypt, but it's all garbage.
Come.
Regardless who predates who. Egypt predating Greek mythology, Greek mythology predating Roman Catholicism. It all boils down to garbage.
Come on, sir.
Timid Negroes is still following after the white man. We love him with the white man love.
Come.
The white man loved that Egypt garbage.
Come, sir.
Okay. We want to go ahead and continue on. We're going to go ahead and
You want to finish up the English, sir?
oh, that. Okay, that's all right.
We're on verse 7, sir. It's like from that verse.
Oh, no.
We're on verse 7, sir.
It's lovely. Verse 7 in the English. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Verse 8. Thou shalt not make thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in the heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the waters beneath the earth. You understand? We ain't supposed to be making an image to bow down to.
Come.
You ain't supposed to make an image, fix it up and everything like that, in the purpose of bowing down to it.
Come.
Okay? A lot of people try to bring this scripture. I just don't like it.
Oh, sorry. Come.
They try to bring this out. See, you ain't supposed to rock the shield of David. What they don't recognize and understand is we not worshiping the shield of David, dumb. You understand? A graven image is anything is a graven image. If I write the alphabet, the English alphabet is a graven image, dumb. But I'm not worshiping the letter A. I'm not worshiping the letter B, dumb. These graven images are images fixed to bow down to. You understand? To make a God.
Come. So
The shield of David is letters.
Come on, Slaps, man.
Yeah, please.
I also want to piggyback what Cap was bringing out is a good point, because there's groups out there that will they're religious institutions that will say, "Oh, you can't make an image," and I always make the argument. I'm like, "But did you know there was images in the temple? there was lions and stuff like there was stuff in the temple, and this was prescribed by the Most High." So obviously, and I say you're taking the scripture out of context. It's what the captain is saying is an excellent point. It's to bow down to.
Exactly. Anything is a picture is an image, dummy. Like the whole entire argument is that you're trying to make this specific image, the shield of David, the image in this context. You understand?
Come.
This very video that you're watching on the internet is an image. You know what I'm saying? Every picture, your profile picture is an image.
Come.
Everything that's on your physical money has images on it. You're not bound down to it. You don't recognize the context of the scriptures. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. But we're gonna where I'm at.
You're still on verse 9, sir.
Verse 9.
Come.
Thou shalt not bow down to thyself unto them, nor serve them, for I'm the Most High thy power. Thy power and a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me. Verse 10, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. Verse 11, thou shalt not take the name of the Most High thy power in vain, for the Most High will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. Okay?
So, like I said, if I could say one more thing, and when this really cuts the Christian, because Christians do this. Even though first of all, they don't even know the name of the Most High, but they'll try to proclaim to be part of the Most High, but they don't keep His commandments. they say you don't have to do the commandments. That's taking the Most High's name in vain. That's taking His name in vain. You profess to follow the Most High of His book, but then you say don't keep the law. That just cuts Christianity right there in half.
We're going to continue on. Is it my time to read to you?
I think it's myself. You want to say?
No, go ahead. You got it.
Come. Was it 12 through 19? Or 18?
12 to 18.
Come. This is Deuteronomy chapter 5, verse 12. Shemawar, Af, Yawam, Hashabath, Lakwadashwa, Kashar, Tazawaka, Yahweh, Alahayaka, verse 13. Shashta, Yamyam, Tha'ibad, Wa'ai Kal, Mala'akafka, Wayawam, Hashabayaya, Shabath, La Yahweh, Alahayaka, La'ah, Fa'aisha, Kal, Mala'aka, Atha, Wabanka, Wabathka, Wa'aibadka, Wa'amathka, Washawarka, Wachamarka, Wakal, Bahamathka, Wagarka, Ashar, Basha'aryaka, Lama Ayin, Yanawak, Ibadka, Wa Amaska, Kamawaka, or Kamawaka, verse 15, was a Karath, Kayat, Ibad, Hayayas, Ba'arakaza, Matazarian, Waya Taza Yahawah, Alahayaka, Masham, Bayad, Kazakwa, no, Kazakha, Waba Zarai, Nato Waya, Khan, Tazawaka, Yahawah, Alahayaka, Ba'aisha Was, Yawam, Hashabat, the water, sir. Verse 16, Kabad, Abayaka, Wa'at, Amka, Ka'ashar, Tazawaka, Yahawah, Alahayaka, Lama Ayin, Ya'arayakan, Yamaka, Walama Ayin, Yayata, Lak, Ha'adamha, Ashar, Yahawah, Alahayaka, Nathan, Lak. Verse 17, La'ah, Tazak. Verse 18, Wala'ah, Thana'ah. And that's it. We'll now be reading Deuteronomy chapter 5, verse 12 in the English. Deuteronomy chapter 5, verse 12. Keep the Sabbath day to sanctify it, as the Most High thy power hath commanded thee. That cuts the Christian church. They don't even observe the Sabbath. They don't even observe it. That's the commandment they somehow. And one thing is, I grew up in the Christian church, and that was always ignored. Or this was always, well, Resurrection Sunday, so now the Sabbath can change. Verse 6, 6 days thou shalt labor and do all thy work. Verse 14, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of the Most High thy power. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, nor thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thine ox, nor thine ass, nor any of thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates, that thy manservant and thy maidservant may rest as well as thou. Verse 15, and remember thou wast a servant in the land of Egypt, and that the Most High thy power brought thee out thence through a mighty hand and by a stretched out arm. Therefore thy Most High thy power commanded thee to keep the Sabbath day. Verse 16, honor thy father and thy mother, as the Most High thy power hath commanded thee, that thy days may be prolonged, and that it may go well with thee, and the land which the Most High thy power giveth thee. And see, that's another reason why we were put out of the land, because we were not turning to the Most High of our fathers. You know, it says, honor thy father and thy mother, and that's, you know, and that also is talking about, you know, we turn and we worship our power, the power of our mothers and fathers, the one of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. But we started wanting to go after the powers of the heathen nations around us, and that's what brought us into captivity. One of the reasons why we're in captivity now. We have to turn back. Verse 17. Thou shalt not kill. Verse 18. Neither shalt thou commit adultery. That's it. I think we should be Deuteronomy 5:19. think of it.
No, I wrote something. That's what we 19.
Come. Deuteronomy chapter 5, 19.
Deuteronomy chapter 5, verse 19 in Hebrew. The Baria, Allah, the Bar, Hawa, Ah.
So what?
19, 5 and 19.
Come.
What's the first word?
I had Willa.
Oh yeah, this is off. This is 8. That's 18 here.
Oh, okay.
Willa, the Hamad, Shot. Ka, Sa, Wala, Ya, Iraka, it's like Ra'ika, should
It might be different because I'm trying to
follow me.
I don't know. It might be a little different.
Does it say
Which this is on 9. That starts 19 on 9, but I don't know if it's different.
Let's start from the beginning.
Where's 19? This is 19 in there. Thugana.
Okay, I got it. Okay. This in here starts somewhere different. I need to get exactly where you are.
Come.
So.
Come.
Okay. I'm
Come.
So does it give you a new verse here?
Come.
18?
And mine is 21, but
the Hamad, Shah, Ra'ika, Sa, Wala, the Awa, Yath, Ra'ika, this is how you see Shah.
Come.
Is it how do you say it? Is it Shad or what? Or Shudder?
I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure what the word is.
It's the root word. Click
That's
on
I'm not sure what that word is. Oops. You might have to select it. I have to read that. Deuteronomy 5 verse.
You can't click on it?
It doesn't.
I think it's
Shad sounds familiar.
yeah, I think it's Shad and then something.
Come. Shad sounds familiar, sir. Shad
and what? Okay. Ibadwa, Amakwa, Shawarwa, Ukhamarwa, Ukal, Ashar, Aika, Sa, Debaryam, Allah, Debar, Yahweh, Al, Kal, Kwam, Har, Wak, Aj, Ainwa, Paul, the wall, the wall was the dog.
You can say either or, sir. The wall or the dog, because it means like great.
With the dog, with the R, the sock, with cock come, with cock bum, al shanya, chaf, a body, with yaf, with the nam, a yaf, 20, with a yaf, Kashimai come out, aqua wall, with the wak, Hachayak, with a haw, Ba'ar, Ba'ash, with the Kurab one, Aliyah, Ka, Ba'ashi, Shabbat Yakam, was a Kwan Yakam, 21. Is it verse 21 right now?
Well, mine is 24, but we'll stop it. You want me to stop when you do 26?
If you could.
Come on. You're ready through, I guess when you finish 26, okay? Come on, let's do 26.
When I'm finished 25.
Come on, sir.
With the Amara, Hana, Anwa, Yahweh, Hayanwa, Alahayana,
Come on.
Alahayana, Atha, Kabaru, Wa'at, Adol, Wa'at, Kolawa, Shana with the Wak, Ash, Ayawam, Azab, Yanwa, Yab, the Bar, Al-Hayam, Al-Adam, Ukhayab, Wa'atab, Nama, Nawaf, Khayab, Runwa, Ash, the dog,
Come on.
the Sapaki, a Nak, and a Hanwa, the Shamai, a Thumb, or wall, the Howard, Alahayana, Iwad, Thunder.
That was 19 through 25. We'll now be reading Deuteronomy chapter 5, verse 19 through 25. Neither shalt thou steal, verse 20. Neither shalt thou bear false witness against thy neighbor, verse 21. Neither shalt thou desire thy neighbor's wife. Neither shalt thou covet thy neighbor's house, his field, or his manservant, or his maidservant, or his ox, or his ass, or anything that is thy neighbor's. Can I ask a question about this? This is actually a question, but so when it says, because the sisters have, they keep the commandments too. Now, when it says, neither shalt thou desire thy neighbor's wife. Now, because that's talking to us, we can't desire another man's wife. So, could we use this to tell sisters that are single? It doesn't say you can't desire another woman's. You see what I'm trying to say? Because it looks like it's talking to us here. We're in verse 21 where it says, you shalt not desire thy neighbor's wife, because your neighbor's wife, that belongs to him.
Yep.
But sisters though, if they're single, they can desire.
They can desire a man that is married.
Married. Come.
It ain't. If they couldn't, they would say it. Ain't no law.
Come.
There's no law. There's no sin.
Come. And so that's what I was. I use this because I'm like, it doesn't say that for the sisters. Come.
Absolutely. That point.
Come. Verse 21, neither shalt thou desire thy neighbor's wife, neither shalt thou covet thy neighbor's house, his field, or his manservant, or his maidservant, his ox, his ass, or anything that is thy neighbor's. Verse 22, these words the Most High spoke unto all your assembly in the mount out of the midst of the fire of the cloud, and of the thick darkness with a great voice, and he added no more. And he wrote them on 2 tables of stone, and delivered them unto me. Verse 23, and it came to pass, when you heard the voice out of the midst of the darkness, for the mountain did burn with fire, that ye came near unto me, even all the heads of your tribes and your elders. Verse 24, and ye said, behold, the Most High, our power, has shown us his glory, his greatness, and we have heard his voice out of the midst of the fire. We have seen this day that our power doth talk with man, and he liveth. Verse 25. Now therefore, why should we die? For this great fire will consume us. If we hear the voice of the Most High, our power, anymore, then we shall die. And that's it.
Mighty. Not dissolve the world. Present thyself.
Tazah.
Garam. Ban Yahawada. Ban Yashar. Allah.
Not Tazah Garam. Ban Yahawada. Ban Yashar.
Yahweh. Bahasham. Yahweh Shai. Barak. Atham.
Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shah Barakatah.
Excellent job too. Shah. Right, you got this last one.
Is it 26 through 31 or 32?
32.
Concept. Deuteronomy chapter 5, verse 26. Kaya, Kal, Bashar, Ashar, Shammai, Kwawal, Alahai, Kayayam, Madabar, Mathawak, Ha'ash, Kamanara, Wayakaya. Verse 27. Korah, Athah, Washamai, Av, Kal, Ashar, Ya'amar, Yahweh, Alahayanawa, Wa'av, Thadabar, Alahayanawa, the Alyanawa, Av, Kal, Ashar, Yadabar, Yahweh, Alahayanawa, Alayakah, Washamayanawa, Wa'ayash, now. Verse 28. Where Shema, Yahweh, Av, Kwawal, but Dabar come. But Dabar but the Barakam, Aliyah, where your Amar, Yahweh, Aliyah, Shemayatha, Af, Kawal, Dabarya, Ha'ain, Hazah, Ashar, Dabarwa, Alahayat, Aliyaka, so I'm gonna keep saying Aliyaka, Yahweh, Kal, Ashar, Dabarwa, verse 29. Maya, Yatan, Wahayah, Lababam, Za, Laham, Layara'aha, Afya, Wala Shamar, Kal, Matazawafya, Kal, Hayamyam, Lama'ain, Yayata, Laham, Walabanyaham, La'ailam, verse 30. Lak, Amar, Laham, Shawabwa, Lakam, La'ahalyakam, verse 31. Wa'atha, Baha, Pa, Imadya, Wa'adabarha, Aliyaka, Af, Kal, Hamataza Waha Kakyum, Waha Shapatyum, Wama Shapatyum, Ashar, Thala Madam, Wa'aisha Ba'arakaza, Ashar, Anakya, Nathan, Laham, Larashata, verse 32. Washamaratham, La'aishawaf, Ka'ashar, Tazawah, Yahweh, Alahayakam, Afkam, La'ah, the Sarwa, Yamyam, Washama'al, come, the what?
Triple read. Read from 5. 26. Make sure you put your fans. Keep following along. Can I get that Bible?
Deuteronomy chapter 5, verse 26. For who is there of all flesh that shall heard the voice of the living God, speaking out of the midst of the fire, and we shall have the living. Verse 27.
As we have been lived.
Verse 26.
Verse 27.
Verse 27.
Which is that?
Thou shalt near the rest of all the land.
Go thou near.
Go thou near. Go thou near, and all that thee shall Lord our God and say, and speak, and thou unto all that the Lord that our God shall speak unto thee, and we shall will go
hear it.
hear it, and to do it. Verse 28. Then the Lord shall heard the voice of the word that shall speak
When he spake
when he spake unto thee, and the Lord said unto me, and I have seen
I heard
the word of the voice of the words of this people, which shall have spoken
Which
unto
they
thee,
have spoken.
which they have spoken thee,
unto thee.
unto thee, unto what
They have well said.
though they have said all that they shall have spoken. Verse 29.
There you go.
29. Lord, O thou that shall be
That there
that they shall
was
do
such
report.
from the top of 29, right? So put your finger on it next to a lot of
Okay, sir.
Oh, that there
O that there shall
was
be
such
shall
a heart
of
in
the
them
heart, and then they should
that they would. And take it up. You want some water?
no, sir, and we shall
That they would fear it.
fear it, and that
Keep
should
all my
all the
commandments.
always,
There you go.
and that shall be
That it
well,
might
that might be well
with them.
with them and with their children forever.
Yeah, right. Good work.
Verse 30. Go into and go say unto them, get you to your tents again. Verse 30. Now, verse 30. But as for thee, stand thee, wait here
Right.
by the way, and the word shall
And I will speak. And I will speak unto thee
and I will speak unto thee
all the commandments.
of the commandments and the statutes and the judgments which shall teach thou shalt
Teach them
all of them,
that they may do them
that they may do them
in the land
on the land
which I give them.
which I should give them, which I give them to possess it.
Yes. 32.
32. Ye shall observe them, therefore, as the Lord shall your God has commanded you. Ye shall do, ye shall not turn aside to the right or to the left,
To the right hand or to the left.
to the right hand or the left.
And I'm like, read. Your recovery since you came to this school has been exponential. Your recovery from the medical incident or what have you.
Yes,
Your
sir.
pronunciation when you salute and name, I mean, it's big. When you came up here today, it was absolutely crisp. Compared from when you started, you made outstanding strides. So that's a good excellent job. Actually, every time I speak to you, you get stronger. Every week. Literally. Alright, good. That, I think we left enough time. Right, Mike. Yeah, we can do that. Men of Israel, gird up thy loins and prepare to salute the Torah. How about Shem Yahushua brought Yah? Yehovah Hashem Yahushua brought Yah. Marim, Payakodam, which means rise and face the east.
We're going to say the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew, then in the English. Abinah, Shabbat Shemayim, Quedah, Hayah, Shemkah, Yahweh, Malach Rafka, Thaba'ah, Retazayaka, Hayah, Aisha, Ba'arataza, Kawah, Hayah, Bashamayim, Nathan Lakum, Kol, Yawam, Wasalak now, Kabawak now, Kasalak now, Kabawak now, Wala'ah, from your eye now, Manasai one, Abal, Hamashai now, Mayan, Ra, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwa, Waha'ala, Waha'ala, La'ayalami, Amah.
In the English, our
Father,
which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name.
Hallowed be thy name.
Thy kingdom come.
Thy kingdom come.
Thy will be done.
Thy will be done
in earth
as
it is in heaven.
As it is in heaven.
Give us this day.
Give us this day
our daily bread.
our daily bread.
Give us our debts.
Give us our debt.
As we forgive our debtors.
As we forgive our debtors.
And lead us not
into
temptation.
But deliver us from evil.
Thine is the kingdom.
Thine is the kingdom.
And the power.
And the power.
And the glory.
And the glory. Forever.
So be it.
So be it. This is Hakat, the power. Yahweh. Bahashim Yahushua. Baba Kusha. Nathan Hakat. Hakat. Labapa'ah. Kamaka Allah. Wakol Marawa. Hakat. Latahar. Hamatazarayim. Hakat. Lahakim. Hamakim. Hakat. Araka'awa. Hatama'ala. Love Rashad. Bahashim Yahushua. So Wala Amah.
In the English, the power.
Yahweh.
In the name of Yahushua.
In the name of Yahushua.
Please give us the power.
Please give us the power.
The power to heal.
The power to heal.
All manner of sickness.
All manner of sickness.
And all manner of disease.
And all manner of disease.
The power to cleanse the leper.
The power to cleanse the leper.
The power to raise the dead.
The power to raise the dead.
The power against unclean spirits.
The power against unclean spirits.
To cast them out.
To cast them out.
In the name of Yahushua.
In the name of Yahushua.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So be it.
So be it. This is the blessed Israel. Yahweh. Bahashim Yahushua. Barak Lana. Vayasha'al. Bahabayah. Sapari. Barak. Rakah. Magan. Hagan. Bahashim Yahushua. Fawala Amah.
The English, Yahweh.
Yahweh.
In the name of Yahushua.
In the name of Yahushua.
Bless us.
And
Israel.
And Israel.
And the school.
And the school.
Bless.
Heal.
Shield.
Protect.
In the name of Yahushua.
In the name of Yahushua.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So be it.
So be it. This is Psalm 121. Aisha. Ayanya. Ahahari. Ma'ayan. Yaba'ah. Izari. Ma'ayin. Yahweh. Aisha, Shamayam, Wa'arataza, Al-Yatan, Lamawat, Rakolka, Al-Yanawam, Shamarka, Hana, La'ab, Yanawam, Wala'ab, Yayashun, Sharamar, Yasha'al, Yahab, Shamarka, Yahab, Tazalka, Ayah, Yamika, Yaramam, Hashamash, La'ab, Yakaka, Wayarak, Balayala, Yahab, Yashamarka, Makora, Yashamar, Aknapashka, Yahab, Yashamar, Tazafka, Wabawaka, Mayata, Wa'ai, Awalam, Amar.
In the English, I will lift up my eyes into the hills.
I will lift up my eyes into the hills.
From whence cometh my help?
From whence cometh my help?
My help cometh from your house.
My help cometh from your house,
Which made heaven and earth.
which made heaven and
He
earth.
will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
He will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
He that keepeth thee
He that keepeth thee
will not slumber.
will not slumber.
Behold,
Behold,
he that keepeth Israel
he that keepeth
shall
Israel
neither slumber nor sleep.
shall neither slumber nor sleep.
Yahweh is thy keeper.
Yahweh is thy keeper.
Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand.
Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand.
The sun shall not smite thee by day,
The sun shall not smite thee by day,
nor the moon by night.
nor the moon by night.
Yahweh shall preserve thee from all evil.
Yahweh shall preserve thee from all evil.
He shall preserve thy soul.
He shall preserve thy soul.
Yahweh shall preserve thy going out
Yahweh shall preserve thy going out
and thy coming in.
and thy coming
From
in
this time forth
from this time forth
and even forevermore.
and even forevermore.
So be it.
So be it. Psalms 83 in the Hebrew. Alahayim.
Alahayim.
Al-Damayalaka.
Al-Damayalaka.
Al-Fakarash.
Al-Fakarash.
Ra'al-Fashakwat.
Al-Fashakwat.
Al-Kayahana.
Al-Kayahana.
Al-Yadnika.
Al-Yadnika.
Yahama Yawan.
Al-Yawan.
Wamashanayaka.
Al-Shanayaka.
Nasha'Allah.
Al-Sha'awah.
Ra'ash.
Ash.
Al-Ainaka.
Al-Anaka.
Ya'aryamba.
Al-Yamba.
Sawad.
Sawad.
Where you think your eye tells a what?
When you put your eye to the rock.
Altazapawanyaka.
Al-Tazapawanyaka.
Amarwa.
Amarwa.
Lakawa.
Lakawa.
Wanahakiram.
Al-Kakri.
Magolia.
Goli.
Wala'ah.
Al-Ra.
Yasakar.
Sakar.
Sham Yasha'al.
Sham Yasha'al.
Awad.
Al-Wa.
Kaya.
Kaya.
Now what eye tells a what?
Well, eye to the rock.
La.
La.
Yachadwa.
Kaya.
Ayaka.
Ayaka.
Baryath.
Barya.
Yakarathwa.
Rakwa.
Aholia.
Holy.
Arawam.
Al-Wa.
Where you Shemai Olayam.
Al-Wa.
Mawa'aba. Wahagarim. Gabal. Wa'amawan. Wa'amala. Halashaf. And Yeshabya tells a war. Gam Ashawar. Nalawa. Imam. Hayawa. Zawawai. Labanya Lawat. Salah. Aisha Laham. Kamadyan. Kasayasa Ra'ab. Kayadyan. Banachal. Koyashman. Nashamadwan. Nashamadwan. But Ayanda Arab. Hayawa. Daman. La'adama. Shayadamwa. Nadayabwa. Ka'ira. Wakaza'aba. Wakazabak. Wakatazolina. Kanasayakamwa. Ashar. Amarwa. Nayarasha. Lanawa. Af. Na'awaf. Alahayim. Alahaya. Shayatamwa. Kagogala. Kakwash. Lapanyaraka. Ka'ash. Thaba'ira Ya'ira. Wakalahaba. Thalahat. Haryan. Khan. Thalaradapna. Basa'iraka. Wabawasawapafka. Thabahalam. Mala'ah. Panyaham. Kwalawan. Wayabakwashwa. Shamka. Yahara. Yabashwa. Wayabahoa. Ayai. Wayakapara. Wayabadwa.
Bollywood.
Wayita Aya,
Wayita Aya,
Kaya,
Kaya,
Atha,
Atha,
Shaka,
Shaka,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Labaka,
Labaka,
Ayawan,
Ayawan,
Akal,
Akal,
Ha'arataza,
Ha'arataza,
Amar.
Amar. In the English, keep not thy silence, O Yahweh.
Keep not thy silence, O Yahweh.
Hold not thy peace.
Hold not thy peace.
Be not still, O Yahweh.
And be not still, O Yahweh.
For lo,
Thy
enemies make a tumult.
Thy enemies make a tumult.
And they that hate thee.
And they that hate thee
have lifted up the head.
have lifted up the head.
They have taken crafty counsel.
They have taken crafty counsel
against thy people.
Against thy people.
And consulted against thy hidden ones.
And consulted against thy hidden ones.
They have said.
They have said. Come.
And let us cut them off.
And let us cut them off.
From being a nation.
From being a nation.
That the name of Israel.
That the name of Israel.
May be no more in remembrance.
May be no more in remembrance.
For they have consulted together.
For they have consulted together.
With one consent.
With one consent.
They are confederate against thee.
They are confederate against thee.
The tabernacles of Edom.
The tabernacles of Edom.
And the Israelites.
And the Israelites.
Of Moab.
Of Moab.
The Hagarene.
And the Hagarene.
Gabal.
And Ammon. And Amalek.
The Philistines. The inhabitants of Tyre.
With the inhabitants of Tyre.
Asher also was joined with them.
Asher is also joined with them.
They have hope in the children of Lot.
They have hope in the children of Lot. Salah.
Do unto them.
Do unto them.
As unto the Midianites.
As unto the Midianites.
As to Sisera.
As to Sisera.
As to Jabin.
As to Jabin.
At the brook of Kison.
At the brook of Kison.
Which perished at Endor.
Which perished at Endor.
They became as dung for the earth.
They became as dung for the earth.
Make their nobles like a red.
Make their nobles like a red.
And like the egg.
And like the egg.
Yeah. All their princes.
All their princes.
As Sabbath.
As Sabbath.
And as Amuna.
And as Amuna.
Who said.
Let
us take to ourselves.
Let us take to ourselves.
The houses of the Most High.
The houses of the Most High. In possession.
Oh my power.
Oh my power.
Make them like a wheel.
Make them like a wheel.
As the stubble before the wind.
As the stubble before the wind.
As the fire burneth a wood.
As the fire burneth the wood.
And as the flames of the mountains on fire.
And as the flames of the mountains on fire.
So persecute them.
So persecute them.
With thy tempest.
And
make them afraid with thy storm.
And make them afraid with thy storm.
Fill their faces with shame.
Fill their faces with shame.
That they may seek thy name.
That they may seek thy name.
O Yahweh.
O Yahweh.
Let them be confounded.
Let them be confounded.
Trouble forever.
And trouble forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let them be put to shame.
Let them be put to shame.
Perish.
And perish.
That men may know.
That men may know. That thou. Whose name alone. Is Yahweh. Art the Most High.
Over all the earth.
Over all the earth.
So be.
So be. This is the blessings. Barakatha Yahweh.
Barakatha Yahweh.
When Yahweh Shah.
When Yahweh Shah.
When Mayaka Allah.
When Mayaka Allah.
When Allah Hayy.
When Allah Hayy.
Matazab Ya'ah.
Matazab Ya'ah.
Allah Wab Yahana.
Allah Wab Yahana.
Ha Allah Wabdum.
Ha Allah Wab Yahana.
Ha Saranyam.
Ha Saranyam.
Ha Kwatazayanyam.
Ha Kwatazayanyam.
Ha Kayayoyam.
Ha Kayayoyam.
Wa Ha Akwatyan.
Wa Ha Akwatyan.
Yahweh. Wa Hashim Yahweh Shah.
Hashim Yahweh Shah.
Fawara Aman.
Fawara Aman. And the English. Bless you, Yahweh.
Bless you, Yahweh.
In Yahweh Shah.
In Yahweh Shah.
And Michael.
And Michael.
And the angel.
And the angel.
Commanding General Yahweh.
Commanding General Yahweh.
The generals.
The generals.
The captains.
The captains.
Officers.
The officers. The troopers.
And the assistants.
And the assistants.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
In the name of Yahweh Shah.
In the name of Yahweh Shah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So be it.
So be it.
You want to put it down? It get heavy after a while, don't it? So I'm doing that. Oh, triple. Put it down. We finish this up. Curses. Blessed are you, Yahweh.
Blessed are you, Yahweh.
King of heaven and earth.
King of heaven and earth.
And all things living.
And all things living.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
And Yahweh Shah.
In the name of Yahweh Shah.
Listen to us now.
Listen to us now.
Right now.
Right now.
To evils and curses.
To evils and curses.
Punishment and destruction.
Punishment and destruction.
To the heathen.
To the heathen.
That speak against us.
That speak against us.
Prophets.
Thy prophets.
Teachers.
The teachers.
The princes.
The princes.
Priests.
The priests.
Israelite brothers.
Israelite brothers.
And the school.
And the school.
The evils and curses.
The evils and curses.
Punishment and destruction. destruction.
Punishment and destruction.
To the heathen.
To the heathen.
The shake loose the treasure.
The shake loose the treasure.
Of the rich of Israel.
Of the rich of Israel.
That refuse to get to the school.
That refuse to get to the school.
Force their riches.
Force their riches.
Into thy sanctuary.
To enter to thy sanctuary.
Send evils and curses.
Send evils and curses.
And punishment and destruction.
And punishment and destruction.
To the Edomites.
To the Edomites.
And the nations.
And the nations.
And their drug dealers.
And their drug dealers.
The court system.
The court system.
The prison system.
The prison system.
Planned Parenthood.
Planned Parenthood.
All the governments of our enemies.
All the governments of our enemies.
Amalek synagogues and armies.
Amalek synagogues and armies.
The Roman Catholic Church.
Roman Catholic Church.
The Pope.
The Pope.
Islam. Christianity.
Egyptology. Militia.
Ku Klux Klan.
Ku Klux Klan.
Aryan Nation.
Skinheads.
Cosmopolitan. The gay movement. The lesbian movement. Spies. Workers of witchcraft. National Space Program. Army. Navy.
Air Force. Marines. Wall Street.
Open up the internet.
And the airways.
Cable access channel.
And the radio channel.
Convict the spirit. Any of thy people. That seek to stop us. And bring swift destruction.
To
all the heathen. That stand in the way. And try to stop us. Broadcasting your word. Throughout the planet Earth. Let loose all the plagues.
Let loose all the plagues.
Cause them to go to and fro. Through the earth. And consume them. Let the plagues. Shake the house of the thief.
Shake the house of the thief.
Let the plagues. Shake the house of the thief.
Shake the house of the thief.
And the murder. Let your house shine. Michael and Gabriel. Come down with the flying saucers. And punish all the heathen. That come up against us. As we speak thy word. Cause it to be known by all. That it is the angels. That have done it. Cause it to be spread. Through the media. Throughout the whole world. Cause them to shake at thy coming. In the name of Yahushua. Thank you. So be it. So.
Men of Israel, we're going to give one courtesy salute to the teacher. Men of Israel, Amayim Shabbat, Amayim, Barak, Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shah Barakathah.
Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shah Barakathah.
Young number top, class dismissed.